Good morning. Good morning, blessed rising. Oh my goodness. It is a new day. Kirti, oh my sis. I just want to break into tears just seeing your name pop up here. Buenos dias. Good morning, blessed rising. Here we are. Oh, I love laughing. Fuck, there's a lot to laugh about. Just the fact that we are in bodies, what a joke. Something great to laugh about. Not meaning that in a cynical way, in the most awe-inspired way possible. Blessings, good morning, welcome. I am sitting here in front of my altar this morning. I woke up feeling incredibly blissed out, blessed, and grateful to be alive and in a body. I woke up with just like overflowing gratitude that I woke up in a bed, in a house that's safe with my daughter in the next room, and that I am in a body today. And I just have been getting this really intense download from the universe about navigating life from the place of gratitude, and that informs all the decisions that we make, and that informs the way that we adjust the lens of perception, and so that we can see the truth of existence in every moment. And I'm so glad you're here, Kirti, because I wanted to actually say that my beautiful sister Kirti has lent me a book called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani, who I don't know if y'all know her or not, but she is a person who was diagnosed with, I can't remember which kind of cancer it was. Kirti, do you remember? But it took her all the way to the point where she lived with it for 4 years, and she was very much opposed to Western protocols. So she was doing all kinds of alternative healing protocols. And the path took her all the way to the point where cancer basically ravaged her body and took her to the threshold of death, to the point where she was rushed to the ER. She was in ICU. She was about to leave her body, to the point she did leave her body. She went into a coma. She left. She went into the realm of infinite. She went into the God space. She left her body, and she consciously observed herself having this death-dying experience, where she went out into the vast expanse of oneness and God, and had the revelatory experiences, and had the vision, had everything be shown to her. The truth of what truly is was shown. She experienced it. And then she was basically given the option of, you can continue into this realm of infiniteness, or you can return to Earth. And she was like, fuck no, I'm not returning to Earth. Do you see my body? Like, it's completely ravaged. I have all these machines attached to me. There's a whole ICU unit that's distressed, that's gathered around me to like save me from the clutches of death. I'm not going back to that cancer ruined body. Yes, Dying to Be Me. Does anybody remember what type of cancer she was diagnosed with? I don't remember. So type it in there if you remember. Not that it really matters, but anyway, she was literally, she died from it. Her entire body shut down because cancer ravaged her body. So, but when she was there and she was given the opportunity or the choice of return to the body or enter more deeply into the realm where you don't pass back, she was shown that if she returned to the body, that all she needed to do was return and everything would be figured out, and she wouldn't lymphoma. Yeah, I think it was I think you're right, Kirti. So yeah, it was systematic. Her organs shut down. But basically, she was shown that if she returned, that it wouldn't be an issue anymore. She would heal, and that she would be, boom, like an arrow of God being shot onto the earth. I mean, not those weren't the words, but that's just the vision that's coming to me. So she was like, okay, I'll go back. That was a moment of trust. But she was in that space where truth just was, and there was no questioning, so there was no question for her. She was like, I'm going back. Talk about how she got the cancer. That shit was deep. Yeah. Kirti, you should come on here and talk with me. Want to chat with me on here? So she went back, and within, I think it was 4 days or so, she experienced a full miraculous healing where her entire medical unit of doctors and professionals and ICU doctors, everybody, were just like mind blown and couldn't fucking believe that her body was regenerating and repairing all on its own. And she experienced a full healing. I think they dosed her with a little bit of chemo while she was in the coma. But, you know, like not any kind of an amount that would trigger a full body healing response on a person who had died from cancer. Where, I mean, it was just, everyone was just mystified and mind blown that this woman returned from the coma and then returned into hell. And this is a true story. And I've been reading the book over the past few days since my beautiful sis let me borrow it. And it's interesting because so much of what she's saying in there, it was like, not that I went to her level of severity with my own cancer journey, but so much of what she was saying about what led her to the cancer occurring in her body was, I so related to so much of it. And that whole thing of like early childhood events, even if you're, you know, in the hands of caretakers who don't intentionally mean to create perceptions of yourself, you know, just life just fucking happens and everybody's doing their best. But we as young, small, tiny people biologically are designed to perceive and know that we are loved, needed, valued, seen, heard, and an integral, important part of the familial tribal unit. And when things happen, nobody's fault, things just happen. Whether it's an intentional neglect of emotional needs or whether it's just a subconscious, you know, maybe your parents or your caretakers are just they're on survival mode, you know, or they were raised in a broken family and they don't have the emotional capability to offer you the love and support you need beyond a roof over your head, food, clothes on your back, and getting you to school every day or whatever it is, right? If you're not raised in a unit that is giving you the emotional presencing that you need biologically, then things happen. And there's early attachment woundings that happen, and there's these imprints that are made upon our being where we start to have these thoughts about ourselves that are perceptions that shift into becoming our truth as very young people. And so we enter into adulthood if we're not taught tools to navigate that and manage that and contextualize that. Our early attachment wounding becomes our truth, and it becomes the way that we move through the world. It becomes the lens through which we see reality. And so, especially if you carry unresolved trauma or you have early attachment wounding that's not resolved or tended to, and most of us do, we're not taught tools to navigate that. So then, you know, we build a whole life out of that. And Anita's talking about how She's one of those people, and she didn't have that perception that she was loved, valued, needed, seen, heard in her family unit, and it played itself out in all of these ways, which eventually she developed lymphoma. So many of the things she wrote in that book, I was like, fuck, yep. And so many people who have the cancer journey or chronic illness or tragedy or whatever it is, it's like earlier life informs what is now and the reality that we create. And we tend to, when we have unresolved trauma, this is what I was going to say before, when we have the unresolved trauma or we have the unresolved early childhood wounding, and we move from that lens, we see through that lens, we're always collecting evidence to prove all of that true. And for people who are stuck in trauma loops, that's continuously playing itself out in our lives. And simultaneously, it's like chronic stress on all systems, especially the immune system. The body's always in that low level or maybe high level or range of fight, flight, freeze. You know, and if you have a genetic disposition and you live on planet Earth and in this time where now the statistic is 1 in 2 people will experience cancer in their lifetime. Like, that's just like freaking mind-blowing that that's the straight up statistic now. I mean, it's no wonder if you look around, you see the planet is screaming out to us. Like, she's like, yo, shit is in major imbalance. And I have gotten this message. I keep thinking, like, I'm the canary in the coal mine for my community of, like, we all are earth bodies. Our bodies are made out of earth. And so what happens here is a reflection of what's happening in the earth. I hope that I can save this. I so often try to save these and like weird stuff happens on IG. Hopefully it'll save for the next 24 hours, but thank you for asking that question. I try to save it to my phone and put it on YouTube, but you know, you never know what's going to happen with these things. So thank you for being here now. And I like to come on here and continue to share the message for people. Whoever is here in this moment, I know needs to be here right now, needs to hear this message, needs to drop into this resonance and this frequency. Us who are here in this space, sacred portal space together right now, are all sharing a similar wavelength frequency. And we felt each other. We felt the magnetization. We jumped in. Bam, here we are, and we are holding a sacred space in virtual ritual together. So I am just really grateful that you all are here. You're choosing to spend your time together with me and each other here in this space while we drop into this story and this message of this is where it's leading me, where the piece that I felt the press to come on to IG Live and speak on today. Kind of wanted to give some backstory so you could understand why I'm so freaking pumped right now. Woo! Yo, we woke up. If you're not fucking elated and stoked out of your mind on the fact that you woke up, then let's go, people. Okay, someone's asking, Casey said, what's the book you're reading? I missed the beginning. It's called Dying to Be Me by Anita Moorjani. And so does Kirthi, she wrote that too. We both highly recommend that every single person on the planet reads this book. I mean, it's a true story. And it's a story of a person who returns from death, of their body being completely ravaged by cancer, completely to the point of death, comes back and has a full healing within days. And the healing, and she says this a lot in the book, where she's like, you don't have to have the near-death experience to get this download and to make this pivot in your life, which I experienced as well. I didn't have the full-on, like, I don't remember ever having a moment that extreme, like she's saying. I mean, I had moments where I thought I might die that day several times. I mean, literally, not figuratively, but like there was moments where I was breath to breath, not sure what the next breath would hold for me. But I did have those revelatory experiences, and one in particular was when I was in the hospital. I'm jumping all around because I'm so excited. I'll come back to the hospital story, but I just wanted to say Anita's message was, you don't have to have the extreme near-death experience to have the pivot that when you have the realization that you right now and who you have always been, who you always will be, whether or not you're in your human body temple, that you are a cherished and beloved member of the universe, of the multiverse, and that you are not only a child of God, who is source, great spirit, mystery, universe, goddess, all of the above. You're not only that, but you are that itself. You are great spirit, source, infinite, sublime, eternal, indestructible, light, love, bliss, in a human body. And you chose to incarnate on this planet Earth at a time of patriarchy regime where you are told from the moment you're born. Like, for example, the other day I had this trauma healing session, and I was reliving an experience of being in the womb and being forced out because of Pitocin. From my birth, it was like, no, get on our schedule. And I felt the inner infant resistance of like, I have my own time frame. You don't trust my time frame? I'm being forced onto yours, and there was resistance in my body, dude. And I was like, whoa, I had this download. Here I am, I'm on another tangent. Somebody help me remember where I was going when I have to share this piece. In that session, a voice inside of my body was like, whoa, I've been dancing my whole life to unwind traumas that go back to being even in the womb. That movement for me has been this tapping in and returning to me, God essence in the human body. Oh, fuck, dude, I got lost and I was on that other... Okay, so I think what I was saying was that we are God. We are infinite energy, infinite, vast expanse of love, choosing to have a finite experience. And that what I really get and what I really got and what I was shown in my experiences was that the whole feeling, all the experiences of being disconnected, being separate, it's the human paradigm of like, oh, I'm separate from all that is, that I end where my skin ends and you're over there and you're separate than me and fuck that person, and the whole like polarity of like me and you, that's actually bullshit. And that our souls choose to come in and have divine forgetfulness where we experience separation and we drop deeply and fully into the pain of separation. And it shows up everywhere. And so all of that, though, is perfect by design. It's perfect because when you can drop fully into the forgetfulness of the truth of who you truly are, you get to fully have that experience. And that is the tricky wisdom of the soul in you that is so wise and sublime. It's like, you know what? I'm going to go in and have that duality experience. I'm going to go feel the range of feeling totally disconnected. I'm going to go deep into the illusion. I'm going to experience the pain. And the waking up, it makes the waking up and the remembering all the more precious. Because if you came into this dualistic earth realm and you were like, yeah, boom, and that's a realized being, and I think realized beings come in voluntarily to hold this space and anchor the truth on the planet. And there are those divine, infinite, immortal beings here on the planet with us. They walk the planet for thousands of years by choice, holding space for the humans that are having the awakening experience. And so that's the thing. It's like, oh, all the painful, gnarly, all the feelings of separation, not being enough, and not feeling lovable, and feeling abandoned and not worthy, and all of that was on purpose. I needed to fully embody that. I needed to fully embody what the victim mentality was. I needed to fully embody lack consciousness so that when I remembered my true nature, it was all the more delicious. It was all the more sublime. So, this is what the other story I was going to start to tell. Kirti was there with me in the hospital when I had a blood clot after my breasts were removed. And I was stuck in a hospital bed where, they were doing daily procedures on me and pumping a bunch of meds in me to try to break up this clot that went from my knee into my abdomen. And, when I got there, the ER doc said this is potentially fatal, but I didn't really get it. And I was like, in my mind, I was like, there's no fucking way I'm dying in this hospital. Like, I'm on a path of trying to deal with cancer, not a blood clot. Like, let's get this show on the road. Like, get the blood clot out. I need to get back to healing. And, yeah, Kirti, I was just going to say, yes. Okay, so there's so much. Like, I could tell a lot of stories from that. Sorry about that. Someone was calling. There's a lot of stories that came through in that week, and I would love to have another time where I tell those stories. And Kirti was there with me many nights. She came and just spent the night or spent the day and held the space because, I was on the edge. I was on the edge, and I didn't get the gravity of what was going on until after I was done with the experience, and the doctors and the medical team came and saw me, and they were like, all right, we were worried about you. We weren't sure if we were going to lose you. And I was like, what? Like, I didn't get it. I mean, I was so laser beam focused on surviving and dropping in with the God downloads that were coming through me that I was being shown what to do to survive. Specifically, I was being specifically shown. But what the point I'm trying to get to here is, once they removed the tubes from my leg and the machines from my body, and I started weaning out of their meds and stuff, then I was given permission to get up from the bed. Mind you, I had been through chemo, my body was wrecked from chemo, been through the surgery, still in the healing process from this. Then I get the machines out of my leg, and they give me permission to stand up, and they were like, okay, we got to get you moving again. And so literally my first walking trip was shuffling a few steps to the bathroom and back, and it was being in a body that was 150 years old, and envision me bald from chemo, little chicken peach fuzz coming through, and swollen from chemo, and still scarred, and newly freshly scarred, and this and that. But the moment that the nurse gave me the go to have my own walk. She did a few practice walks. We did the hallway, and, they did it supervised. Thank you, Kirti. Oh. Well, the moment she gave me the green light on, okay, you can do this on your own. And I was alone in my room, and that whole morning the sun had just been blasting in my window. And I really, honestly, truly felt that the sun was talking to me, and the sun was like, come here. Whew. So I got myself up, and I pressed up to standing, and I shuffled over around the bed to the window. And I just had that moment of realization of I was in a holy communion with the sun. And my body went into this spontaneous movement. It was like devotional union movement where my body was speaking to the sun and the sun was speaking to me in codes. The sun's light codes were speaking to me and activating me, and my body was speaking in movement codes back. And I was the witness. I was witnessing this. And this voice was coming through, like, because I've studied yoga, right? And the voice was, this is sun salutation. This is a sun salutation. And it was a spontaneous movement. It wasn't like inhale, exhale, it wasn't that. It was a spontaneous, reverential, devotional movement to the sun. And the sun, I really got, was like the satellite star of the universal central light. It's like the universal central, multiverse central light is beaming to our satellite star, which is the sun. And there's billions in the universe, multiverse, right? Billions of suns. Ours is a satellite star for light, transmitting to our planet and to planets in the solar system, right? And I really got the transmission, and I just wept. I wept in astonishment that I was in this body, and although the body could barely move, and that the body survived the clutches of death several times, it was like, it was just full awakening, full love for my body that was in so much pain and had endured so much of my self-loathing for, 43 years. So much trauma, so much experience on the planet of the lack consciousness and the disconnect and all of that. And yet here I was in this divine, beautiful body temple that has been my devoted companion since day one. My masterpiece. This is my masterpiece. And I just dropped into this reverence for the fact that I am in a body. And that's really the message that I came on here today to share, is that you right now are in a body temple. And even if you were told your whole life that it's not enough, it's too much, it's the wrong shape, or you, the person inside of it, are not enough, too much, whatever the message is that all had to occur for you to get to the point of the divine remembering of, I am perfect right now as I am. I always have been, I always will be. And I don't say that from a place of complacency where it's like, I just give up trying and to be in my full radiance. We are always a work in progress. We are always an unfolding manifestation of the divine in this body temple. But it's the realization of, oh wow, I have always been whole. I always will be. I am in this moment, even if my body's not, functioning at the place where I want it to be, or maybe it doesn't look how I was taught it has to look, or this. Circling back into the truth that you are perfect right now. So, that's a long way of getting me to the point of that message, and I hope if you're joining me right now that you go back and watch the beginning. I hope Instagram saves this, and I hope it allows me to save it to my phone, but you never fucking know. Let me see what time it is. Thank you for every single person who is here with me in this moment. It is divinely arranged that we are here in this space together. It is divinely arranged that there's this thing called Instagram where we can jump on together and share sacred space. And it's divinely arranged that we are in each other's lives. It's divinely arranged that the person who you loathe the most is in your life on purpose, triggering you. It's divinely arranged that society's a motherfucking mess right now. It's divinely arranged that every single thing is exactly as it needs to be. And so we can either resist that, or we can move with that to look inside and see what is the medicine of this divine, perfect chaos. And how is this all happening for me? This isn't happening to you. That's the victim. And I get it. I have fucking mastered victim mentality. I'm not judging you if you have a victim mentality. I get it. And I'm still working through that. Kirti will tell you, we have these talks every day. Weaving in and out of remembering, forgetting, remembering, forgetting, remembering. It's a part of the dance of life. I love you all too. I'm just like flowing. There's no rhyme or reason to what I'm saying, but I just decided to say I am going to be a mouthpiece for the divine. I am the divine. I'm not only a mouthpiece for the divine, I am the divine. So are you. So is everyone. So the invitation is to drop deeply into that truth and to get on that wave as much as possible. To get out of the illusion, the illusory self, the illusions of life. There's a trap on every fucking corner to pull you back into illusion. But it's like, I'm the divine dancing within the illusion. I might forget, but it's fucking coded in me. It's who I am. Even if I forget, I never forget. It's in me, and it's in you. I love you all. Thank you for weaving here with me in the sacred space, and may we enter into this day and be the transmission. We already are the transmissions, but maybe consciously be transmitters of the truth. I love you. Peace.